thank you again for coming today. The library has quite a remarkable history. It's a long history, but I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to give you the best parts that you'd like to know, okay? We had a lot of false starts in the beginning and, a few setbacks. But it actually started in 1927, before the Wicked was even incorporated, and there was only a few hundred people here. There was a group of people called the Wooddale Community Club, and they wanted a library. So they dedicated themselves to be the library. Unfortunately, about 40 years ago, we started to try and find our roots, and even one of our aldermen, Elizabeth, at the time, was helping us. And this is how we found that. But after that, it seemed to have disappeared. We could not find where the library was or anything, so it just was a false start. All the way into the 40s, after World War II, then we started getting really good information. Around 1949, now there was a Wooddale Club, and they were on Irving Park Road by Catalpa Street. And they too wanted to get involved with getting the library started. So they took a vote to have a library board to see what they could do to get it started, and they asked for a vote. And it was hard, so they needed more help. So again stepped the Lions Club. Now the Lions Club, they were able to get Illinois State bookmobile to come into Wooddale. And they parked it with bookmobile right on Wooddale Road in front of the post office. Now, at that time, the post office was right in the middle of the block where Seegers used to be. They came on Saturdays for a couple of hours, and they saw that at least 200 books were taken out every time, so we knew the library was really wanted. Now, the Wooddale Club decided that they were going to try again to start and asked for books to be donated and thought that they could put it in their clubhouse on Irving Parkway. That just fell through too, unfortunately. So then in came Holy Ghost. In the early 50s, there were a group of people who had moved into town at that time, Ruth and George Welchers, and they worked together, library and Holy Ghost. And somehow they got them to agree to let a rental library come into the church in the vestibule on Sundays. And they could have it open on Sundays after church services. It was a rental library, but the volunteers grabbed it. They had all 50 books to start. They charged 25 cents for your library card, and 10 cents if you wanted a fiction book for a week, and 5 cents for nonfiction. They did this so they could buy books. By 1955, they told us they had 200 books. But in 1956, a committee came from Bensonville, and they went to the people at the library board who was established at the Wooddale Club. They wanted to know if we wanted a cooperative community library. Now on this committee was Dr. Zuckerman, at the time was principal of Trenton High School, and then became the superintendent of District 100. And he agreed that he would give them room to have a library. So many volunteers came together and they got many books when they started to put their library together in Finn. Now they weren't sure how to do this because they were five libraries. So now I tasked it, had a librarian, and she agreed to come show them how to set up the library properly, had to run it. And it was great. In 1950, or early 58, they opened the library, and it was very good. But by the middle of 1958, the library board and Wooddale wanted a branch of the library. They said it would be more convenient for the people of Wooddale. So now they went to District 7. And Superintendent McSwain agreed that he would give them rooms in the library right off Wooddale Road. The only thing was they could use it in the summertime when the children were at school. But when the fall came, it was going to be not too good. So they agreed they wanted that library branch to be there. So again, the community came together, men and women. They went over there. The Lions Club again volunteered by giving them money so they could build the bookshelves and everything. And they brought the books in. And by that time, they got 1,100 books. and everybody knew how to run it, so it worked really well. But the book club, well, the Wooddale Club knew that in fall it was going to be very difficult. So now they agreed that they were going to let them move all the stuff into their club in Irving Park and Catawba Street. The only thing was that they said they had to become an independent library. So they broke away and they became the Independent Library of Wooddale. And it worked pretty well, but they did tell them that it would be only temporary because they were going to have to get their own place. Now, the board that they had voted on, they knew exactly what they had to do. So in 1962, we became the Wooddale Public Library District. Now we had tax dollars and we could really do a job for the library because we had the money. First thing they did was find a home, and that was on Irving Park and Edgebrook. It was only 3,600 feet, but it was theirs. And again, the community came together. They went in there and built more bookshelves and set up the whole library. And now we had our own, and it worked beautifully. Next thing they could do, they hired a librarian to run the library to help all these wonderful volunteers who worked there all these years. They knew that this wasn't going to last too long, 3,600 feet, because everything was really moving fast for libraries. Like in 1977 when the videos came out, and we wanted videos. We were the first ones to start circulating videos. We did charge $1 so we could buy more videos because we didn't have much money. So the next thing they knew they had to do is they had to look for the future, and they went out and bought a piece of property, this piece of property, for the future. By 1979, we knew we needed to do a bond referendum, and it took us 2, but we got it so that we could build the library. In June of 1981, we opened this building. So from 3,600 feet, we had 20,000 square feet and over 30,000 books. And we had everything that any library could want, and a few extras like we've always had, like our puppet show. And it was great. But by 1999, the town had grown. We needed more room, so we put our first edition on. And that was mainly for the children and the youth of the town. It was great. But then in 2013, we got something that I always wished we could have, and we got our book band. So now we could take our books and go around town to the schools and any function and bring the books to the people. That's good. Of course, at this time, those wonderful computers came into being. And we knew that this library, when it was built, was not ready to handle all the electronics that was coming in here. So again, we knew what we had to do. So in 2020, we put this edition on for early learning in children, and that was rented. We was renovated every square inch of this building. And now we are here, we have everything you could possibly want, and we are ready for the future. But I'd like to think that if it wasn't for all those volunteers, all those years ago who wanted a library, even though there were some failures and starts that didn't happen, I believe that if it wasn't for them, we would be here today with this wonderful brand-new library. So I thank you all for joining us today and helping us celebrate the greatly open out door with Wooddale Library.